Hello, this is Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com. Welcome to another episode of my examination series. Tonight we're looking at Karateka and what does it mean to define a QTE or Quick Time Event. Karateka came out a few years ago. This is the, remake of the classic game developed by Prince of Persia designer Jordan Mechner. The game came out to some very mixed praise. A lot of people liked what they were going for, and a lot of people felt it was too dumbed down. And part of that is because of what they did to the game's design. This isn't a fighting game in the truest sense. It's more of just one very long QTE. But it's also a great example of being able to essentially define once for all what is a QuickTime event and how is it different from other video games. Because we could technically say that the QuickTime event is simply the player having to hit a response or they'll die. That can be any video game ever made. But with Karateka, we can see pretty much definitively what is and what is not a QTE. Alright. It's been a very long time since I played this game, so I am pretty sure I'm going to get killed quickly. One thing that I do like that's kind of interesting is that the story is that you have these three suitors going to save the princess, and basically it's order of most desirable to the princess. And it basically is hard, medium, and easy. So you start on hard. If you die, you go to medium difficulty. If you die again, you go to easy difficulty. Art style is really good, and I think it kind of hurts the game in a sense, because you were expecting something a little bit more well-defined in terms of gameplay when you have this very stylized and very interesting art style. There's our princess. There's our first hero. Okay. So the idea is you can only really go in one direction. There is no back or forward. Even though the analog stick says otherwise. I'm pressing back or up, I'm still going the same way. There you go. So the idea is that you're going with the timing of the music. So let's try this again. It's only 1-on-1 fighting. Alright. As you can see, the game looks amazing, but this really is just one very long QTE. And we can define it in the sense that the QTE is where there is only one option for the player, only one button, one input that's going to work. The player deviates from that in any way, shape, or form, they're going to lose. If I was playing a game like God of War, for instance, I have multiple options. I can dodge, I can block, I can do different kinds of attacks. Now, of course, the game also does feature those QTEs where I hit one button or I make one command, pass or fail, essentially. And that's how you really define the difference between a QTE and regular action. I have to not talk too much, or I won't hear the cues. We don't need a flower. You can't even go backwards to get it. So the chi attack basically gives me a chance to just do a rapid fire attack, and they won't be able to respond. That's pretty much the only real choice. Okay. So the scheme is pretty much like the old Dragon's Lair. I have no choice. There's no real difference between me punching or kicking, in a sense. It looks impressive, but it doesn't really do anything different. Take that. That also means there's a literal limit of how well you can play this game. Just get through it perfectly, but it gets a lot harder when the timing becomes a little bit more tricky. See, he didn't even make a noise there. Cheater, you're breaking the game's rules. So that time I got hit. Come on, buddy, you're out. I think that bird is gonna come and try and peck me now. Get my health back. See, no real difference. And it's kind of a shame, because this kind of idea of having the multiple difficulty levels would have been really cool if there was more meat to this gameplay, but that's not what they were going for. And I think a lot of people were expecting more. Because no matter how good the game looks, when it's just nothing but QTEs like this, it just really gets boring. The only thing to really go for is the good ending, which is getting the true love. And I mean, it is challenging, yes, but it's not challenging in terms of learning mechanics or rules. Oh, here he comes. Ow. Alright. I have one more, something to say, but I have to wait until this is over. There we go. Another example, like, of a game that actually elevated the QTE kind of design would probably be Space Channel 5, which was the Dreamcast game involving Ooh La La fighting aliens. It was entirely QTE and rhythm bass, but there were different things to watch out for. You had to know what weapons to use or what buttons to press. It also got really crazy with the beat memorization, to the point that I just couldn't get through it. And that would be an example of an elevated take on QTE design, while Karateka feels more like the old Dragon Lair games. I'm sorry, Dragon's Lair. I mean, I can't even back up or choose how to engage. Ow. Take that. You basically have to wait for them to respond. And that's another thing that's to give QTE design. You're always on the response rather than the aggressor. What the hell happened there? Did he fall asleep? Nice helmet, though. 1, 2, 3. It also doesn't help that I don't think these patterns change on replays. Uh-oh. Die, bird. When I was younger, I really liked QTE-focused games like Dragon's Lair and Space Ace, but it's probably one of the few genres that really hasn't aged well. Sometimes they use hand gestures that give you the idea that there's more to follow here. So let's see. Come on, buddy. Damn you. Come on. Uh-oh. Boom. QTE style games work best if they're like part of another mechanic or system. Again, like God of War, Bayonetta, and even something like I just call him Junkie Kong, Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, which was a rhythm-based game where you used the bongos to control Donkey Kong. And so while it was music-based, most of the gameplay was actually about platforming and getting into a good groove and rhythm of movement. And then the boss fights had QTE-style sections, like one-on-one fights. Ow. And if you notice, as you've watched for the last 11 minutes and 43 seconds, there's only so much they can do in terms of these mechanics. And that's the limit of QTE-focused games. Ooh. Goodbye. So here's more health. I've been saving my chi for like some of the trickier enemies. But I think we're going to wrap things up probably like the next minute. Die, bird. So as you can see, there's actually 2 combos there. We'll see when we get him to do it again. You saw it. And that's when things get tricky, when they start doing combo chain on top of combo chain. That's where the rhythm gets into things, and that's where I start to get horrible at this game. Uh-oh. Sometimes they wreck before your hand get back to the dodge button, too. Oh, I remember this. I heard there was a delay. There we go. Hey! Cheap shot. There we go. Now, with the other difficulty levels, you get more health, and the timing for the different moves gets wider. So you can basically have a slower reaction time and still get some of these things to work. With the Prince or the True Love, you pretty much have to be on point. Oh, come on. Now you saw there was no timing there. So now we switch to number 2. And this is where a lot of people also got knocked out, because the game basically breaks its own rules in a sense. This is where I've lost a lot in previous plays. And this is the other thing about QTE design, is that, again, because there's only so little ways you can do this, the only ways to make it more challenging is to make it more unfair on the player. Oh, here he goes. Alright, but I think that's going to do it for this play of Karateka. Got a pretty good idea of what the gameplay is about, as well as why this is a clear example of QTE design, whereas other games it clearly isn't. can see it gets a little easier in terms of timing, and we're doing more damage. But yeah, let's get out of this here. If you have any questions regarding QTE design, whether it's from a control standpoint or design implementation, be sure to leave in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed these videos, be sure to share them with your friends, leave a comment, and of course, like and subscribe to the channel. Check out game-wisdom.com, where I examine the art and science of games. Follow me on Twitch and Twitter under GW Bycer, and you can find me on Patreon under Game Wisdom. Any donations would be greatly appreciated to allow me to keep putting out great content and add more for you guys to enjoy if we can hit some of those goals. So again, that's been Karateka and discussing QTE design, where it works, its limitations, and what is and what is not an example of it. Thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you all next time. Take care.